Alrighty, so today we are going to be doing a top 10 LR list for November of 2024. Now, I don't foresee anything major coming out this month in terms of like how this list is going to be shifted. You know, the Namek Saga EZAs and the Part 2 LR did not really shift anything in terms of what we are going to be evaluating for characters, right? I think that things pretty much stayed the same through November, but I think that my opinions have kind of changed a little bit as the Worldwide Download Celebration LRs have sort of evolved. Now, I don't recall if I did a list for Gogeta. I probably did. I could probably go back and look, but I think that this list, I think it would be one of these things where like it's going to be branded as a top 10, right? But as I was starting to go through the process of kind of dividing this out and being like, how do I want to do this? I ultimately decided that there are just too many LRs right now in the game to really like settle on a top 10. And I feel like placing these units and ranking them 1 to 10 is kind of like a redundant practice that isn't going to really get us anywhere, right? Where I could say, like, I could tell you, I think Beast Gohan is number 1 still, right? And I do think that, but you know, some people are going to argue the trio. Some people are going to argue Gohan, right? The other Gohan, the other STR LR Gohan. Go figure. But with that being said, right, I think it's a bit of a tough spot right now because of the way that just power creep is in the game right now. Like it's in a really good spot because of just how good these characters are, but it's also in a very tough spot to rank them on a top 10. So this is going to be more of a second monitor video, a second, like you know, listen to the phone, play like another game or something like that, because there's not going to be much going on the screen here, but I'll be making arguments for why I put characters in these spots. So you could see in total on this list, what are we up to at this? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what, 11, 14 LRs on here. Yeah, so 14 LRs, but again, the branding is going to be a top 10. So just keep in mind, it's not going to be 10 on this list. So let's just kind of go, we're going to go down the list here. Keep in mind, these are not in order, but I'm just going to place these characters as I see fit. So starting off, we have STR Gohan, the Worldwide Download Celebration Part 2 LR, the Family Kamehameha Gohan. You guys know that this is going to be a Z-tier character. He is in the argument in the top 4. I think his floor in terms of being a character is like 5. I think is like the worst. You could argue that this character is like the 5th worst character in the game, or 5th best character in the game is like his worst spot. What do I like about this character? I like his leader skill. I like his link set. I like his categories. He has one of the hardest hitting standbys in the I'm pretty sure it's the hardest hitting standby in the game. Attacks right now are so tough to kind of measure out because of standbys and stuff like that, where it's like, if you get like a standby with 100 charges, that's obviously going to hit like, you know, a weapon of mass destruction. And that's what this Gohan is, right? I think it's always really impressive to see how this character builds up super fast and snowballs like within like 3 supers. This is a character that I think is like, the problem with this character to me is just the slot 1 capability in like these early fights, right? We kind of, you know, I know global players don't have the ability to sort of judge the Goku and Frieza fight on the same level as someone who plays JP, just because they don't have it, right? And the Goku and Frieza fight is kind of like lost its allure a little bit, and we've kind of moved on to the memorable battles, Gogeta and Janemba fight. I think that this character, that's really not their bread and butter. This is a character who needs to build up, right? This is a character who you want to have in the standby for the defensive capabilities. But with that being said, like offensively, their output is next to none, right? Defensively, they're easily going to be holding their own. They have a pretty easy condition to fulfill, especially if you're running 2 of them on their own team with the Kamehameha team. There are a lot of characters on Kamehameha, if you didn't know, and a lot of them are on this list. So it works out pretty well that way. But with that being said, right, I think that this character just has a lot going for him, and I think that the Z placement is definitely where he belongs because he is top 5 in the game. So let's go ahead and move on to our boy Int Broly. Now, Int Broly, this is a bit of a tougher character to rank. This is one of these characters where there's no happy medium, right? It's either you're super high on him or you're super low on him. I'm going to put him in the middle. I think S+ is appropriate. I don't think he's top 5, but I do think he is very good, right? This is a top 10, top 12 character in the game easily. This guy is providing a very underrated role, in my opinion, something that is very important for his teams. His categories are very good. You think about characters you're running alongside this guy. We have Janemba, we have Cell Max, we have the It Tech Broly. Look, all 3 of them are on this list, right? AGL Full Power Broly is like the worst character on his team right now, right? Aside from like Super Easy Kid Buu or something. And he's a good character. But, you know, This guy, he works out very well. He provides the defensive utility that the team has, but I think just in comparison to the other 3 LRs that came out alongside him, he was definitely the worst of the 4. And sometimes being the worst of the 4 is not an insult, right? Like it might come off that way, but this is a character who is doing exactly what he needs to do, and it just was not, unfortunately, not as impressive as some of the other characters that we have in the game right now, right? This guy offensively is decent. He has his domain. You know, you can run 2 of them, and then you want to potentially stack the domains on top of each other after they're done, right? You use one, and then you use the other. So you could potentially have the Not That Day Village domain up almost the whole fight. So that is very nice. This guy is going to, it's just, he works so well with some of the best characters in the game, being the Broly units that are out right now. And I think that is really why I have him where I have him, right? S+, I think, is a smart spot, a good spot for him. He has a revival. He has healing with orbs and all typing orbs and stuff like that. So this character really works out well and provides a well-needed role for like the Broly uncontrollable power team, right? Because with that team, you think about a lot of brute force, a lot of muscle with that team, and not really defensive utility. And then this Broly is potentially bringing more defensive utility to the table. So I have him at S+. I think that is a fine spot for him. That is not an insult one bit. Again, this is not in order. This is just how I feel about these characters. Let's go ahead and move on. And this is going to be Tech Broly. Now, to me, I've really come around on this unit. I think that Tech Broly has, I liked him when he came out, but I've really like sort of, I don't know if fallen in love is the right word for it, but I've really enjoyed using this character, right? This is a character who offensively, defensively, he's kind of a complete package, right? I really enjoy the fact that we have like the choice of the transformation right away, right? Hey, Omatsu, I know you're not watching this video, but listen, this is what we want, right? The characters where we don't have to go on a quest to transform them, right? You think about we Saiyans have no limits, right? We always got to bring them up, but that character, we don't have to do anything for them, right? Or that character, we have to go. We have to do a lot for that character, right? We have to wait for turns. We have to do HP. You think about like STR Vegito, we have to wait for HP, right? This character is just, hey, you want to go to Legendary Super Saiyan as soon as the start fights? Okay, go ahead and swipe up, right? And with that, I think that's really important, right? Because this is a character who you're not going to have to worry about that. You can just transform, or you can go with the support and damage reduction role for the first turn, for the first appearance, right? So if you need somebody to be invincible turn 1, you have that with Broly. And then even when you transform him, guess what? He still has super high damage reduction. I believe it's 76%. And then he also has guard. So defensively, he doesn't lose that capability. And he also gains offensive capabilities without the wazoo, right? This character cannot attack when he's in base form, right? I remember seeing that and my heart sank. But then I kept reading the kit and I'm like, oh, he can transform turn 1. Okay, right? So this character can do damage right away, and overall, that is going to be super, super helpful for him. So, you know, I'm sure you guys know how this guy works at this point. He has action breaks, he has an AoE, he has, you know, the active skill to get the extra key, he has the defensive support, or not the defensive support, the defensive utility with the damage reduction, standby, whatever you want to call it, turn 1, and he is good to go. So this Broly, I've really come around to this unit because of how well his team was handled during the Worldwide Download Celebration. So for me, it's an easy Z tier. And that is going to be the same case for our Super Saiyan trio. Now, the Super Saiyan trio, you know, I know we're kind of, you know, I'll kind of get to moving a little bit here, but the Super Saiyan trio, you guys know, offensively, they're doing very well. Defensively, slot 1, turn 1, not going to be their best friend. But if you're running 2 of these guys and you have the support condition, you guys know how overpowered that is at this point. You know, how many posts on Twitter have you seen talking about how, like, let's see, what's an example, right? Like where are they? The Buu duo is back because of the support of this character, right? Or this version of Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta is back because of the support of this character, right? All these different Super Saiyan or movie heroes characters. It's like, oh my God, so-and-so is so fun to run because now they have that extra 154% defense because of these guys, right? This is an example of a character that has a really good leader skill. This is a character that's providing a lot of support. They have offensive capabilities. They have defensive capabilities, just bearing the fact that you need to build them up. But overall, I think they work out very well. I really enjoy running the team that they have. So this is a really good character to me. One thing, like I said, the one complaint that I do have with them is going to be the fact that they have, what's the word? It's just that turn 1 thing, turn 1, slot 1. Them and Gohan have the same issue, but I think that they are more than good enough and also have, you know, defensive capabilities that can be sort of worked out, right? And it's like, it's not that bad because there are other slot 1 characters on the team that can fill in the need that you need for that. So that's why I have them in Z tier. I think this is an easy choice. Let's go ahead and move on. And I don't think you guys are going to love this placement, but I'm going to do it anyway. Cell Max, I'm going to put in S+. I think this is a phenomenal character, but I'm not putting them in my top 5. And that's kind of where I have it right now, right? That's basically how this list is going to go. Like top 5 is Z, not top 5 is S+, and then like borderline not cracking the top 10 is S, basically, right? So Cell Max, I really like this character. In short fights, he is exactly what you want. We have the guard, we have the damage reduction, we have the stupid taunt, right? The 8 million defense, the 10 million defense, however high you can go, right? At 55%, he's reaching like 8 million defense. Nothing is piercing through that, right? So really important. This character is phenomenal. I am a huge fan of them. It's just tough. I don't think right now they're in my top 5, and that is why I have them in S+, and it's basically just a formality, right? Because I don't have them in the top 5. That is why they're in S+. But this character, great link set. They work super well on the Super Bosses team. They work super well on the Movie Bosses team, Uncontrollable Power, all those things. This is a character you're going to want on the team, and that is why I have them in S+. And the same is going to be said for Jiren. Now, Jiren, this is a great character, right? I know he's not on global yet, but we have a standby where defensively he is holding it down for you. Offensively, when you get out of that standby, he is one of the hardest hitting units in the game. This is a character that can clear 100 million without items at the rainbow level. It's very dumb, right? This is a character that is just doing crazy, unheard of things that, you know, weren't really possible back in the day. And it's kind of crazy to think where you see like an attack stat that's like 60, 70 million, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. Like that's 2024 power creep, right? Like 70 million doesn't make you just like fall out of your chair. That's power creep, right? So this is a character, Universal Celebration or Universal Survival Saga. You guys know how well that team has been handled over the years, especially with the 6-year EZAs, the Tech UI Goku, with the other 6-year EZAs, right? The Tournament of Power Android, stuff like that, the Kefla stuff. This is a fun character for sure, but I think right now S+ is where they're going to be because I don't think they're top 5. They might be top 10, but it is very tough to say. So this next one pains me. It does, but Tech UI Goku, I'm going to put him in S+. I'd love to put him in Z, but I don't think he is there. I think offensively, the output is not good enough until you're at the domain, and defensively, he's kind of just like a dodging unit, right? Is UI Goku... Does he bring one of the most interesting mechanics to the table with his domain? Absolutely. I think that this character, he just does so much with the counters, with the guaranteed dodging, with disabling, with nullifying dodge nullification, right? Allowing characters to dodge again is huge. I think that is a very, not underrated, but like it's a perfectly rated aspect of his character. People understand how good Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku is, but the reality is most of the time when you're in these fights, you're going to be in UI Sign. So with UI Sign, he's still providing the support on the super attacks, right? He still has the guard if he takes a hit. He still is getting his dodging. He's still doing 2 to 3 supers every turn, you know, in the 11 million range, 13 million range. When you were doing your initial supers, he works super well next to the 6-year EZAs and the year 6 EZAs. I think they're both going to be S+, but you could easily argue them in Z. And that's why I have them where I have them, right? I think that Tech UI, or both of these 6-year EZAs are perfect for this character, the way he works on superheroes, the way you can run his leader skill and toss Beast Gohan on the Universal Survival Saga team, essentially, it is going to be very helpful. So, Tech UI Goku, amazing character, but I think S+ is probably where I want to put him. I just don't think he's top 5 right now, considering I think overall the year 6 EZAs are better, so that is why I have him where I have him. Now, I mentioned him earlier. You guys know how much I love to talk about this character. I can't help myself. Beast Gohan. This one I'm going to individually rank, and that's because I still think he is number 1. The rest of this list isn't ordered, but this part is, right? Just Beast Gohan is number 1 to me still. I know, I'm not letting it go. Unk needs to let it go, I get it. But I think that this character, it's just, to me, it's still the case of he's taking these hits slot 1, like, so let's just say right now we go into the Janemba fight, right? And we bring all the characters in Z right now. You can take the super. You can take a super from Gogeta or Janemba with your standby or with your, you know, if you're in base. You cannot. You absolutely cannot, right? You can't. I don't think maybe he can. You can't and you can't, right? You can dodge it, but you can't take it. Beast Gohan can. Is he going to get absolutely lit up? Yes. Is he going to survive? Yes. Right? So I think that's really important. I think the fact that we have team protection from turn 3, you don't have to go through any hoops, no bounds, no standbys, right? No active, like no transformation conditions. He just needs to get hit. You get it turn 3. You have that team protection. You have the damage reduction, the guard, the crit chance, all the support that he's doing, the key support for everybody. I still think that this character is number 1. If you want to argue the trio, you want to argue Gohan, you want to argue Broly, be my guest, right? I'm not here to sit here and tell you like you're wrong for thinking that. I'm just telling you how I play the game. I still find that going through Double Beast Gohan is still the easiest way to play this game, and that is indicative of him being the best character in the game. Now, with that being said, there has been a bit of an update to this, right? And you know, we'll get into him later. We'll get into that later, but let me just tell you now, the reason why I still have Beast Gohan there is because the character that's better than Beast Gohan is restricted to turn 4. So at the earliest. So please keep that in mind. That is why I have Beast Gohan at number 1 still. It's the turn 1, it's the turn 2, it's the turn 3, it's the key support, it's the taunt, right? That is why. So please understand that. If you want to argue any character in the Z tier above him, please do. Let me know in the comment section below, but that is how I feel. So let's go ahead and move on to, we'll just get these characters out of the way. Both of these at the same time. Gogeta and Broly are both still phenomenal characters, and I think that they are well deserving of a spot in S. These characters are, I don't think, in the top 10 anymore. They've kind of fallen off of it, but it's also been a year. Beast Gohan it was different, right? He really was. These are more indicative of like an anniversary release. This was more indicative of a power creep reset, right? Where these characters are phenomenal. You can easily shoe them in on basically every team they're on, and they will work. This Broly, I think, is one of the most versatile units in the game for super and extreme class teams. You could run him on either or, and he works. Because, you know, I think Truth said this, but this is basically a super class unit disguised as an extreme class unit, right? Just because of how he works with Super Saiyans and stuff like that. But now, especially with all the Brolys and, you know, extreme class units that we have in the game, things have kind of changed up a little bit. So do keep that in mind. I think Gogeta, his Rainbow Orb changing, his dodging in blue, he has a team protection with the taunt, but granted, his taunt is way harder to get to. That's why Beast Gohan is so good, right? Takes a hit, he gets it the next time. This guy, you got to do a lot. You got to transform, and then you got to have a turn in the transformation. So you got to do a whole lot to get there. So that is why I have him where I have him, but still overall a very good character. And the same could be said about Broly. His offensive output, his defensive output is decent. He has a nice little domain that works well on the movie bosses or the uncontrollable power team, right? Because, like, you know, domains aren't clashing too hard on that team. It's like you have his and then you have his, but they can easily be ran at separate times because this guy's is starting at the beginning of the turn, right? Like you can get it frame 1, and then this guy you have to wait until you're transformed. So do keep that in mind. I think that this Broly works out very well. Still one of the harder hitting units in the game, and that is why he still deserves to be in this spot up here at S. So, you know, we're kind of moving these characters in groups now because I don't want this video to be 30 minutes. I know that's not what you guys are here for, but the 6-year EZAs, I'm going to be putting them, and we'll kind of loosely rank these characters, right? I'll put these guys above Jiren and UI Goku. The 6-year EZAs, they cooked up an absolute masterpiece. It's hard to believe how well they designed those EZAs. UI Goku has, like, I'm not kidding when I say, like, I'm being 100% serious. I'm not being a homer. I'm not being biased. This character, I genuinely believe, has a chance to outage all of these characters and at one point be like this, right? I think that he's that good in terms of, like, how he's going to age, right? The turn 1 dodging, the easy access to a revive. After the revive, you get another turn of guaranteed dodging, right? The dodge chance that builds up, the guaranteed crits on the 24 key, the very common chance that you're going to be getting a triple super, triple crit with a 100% chance to dodge turn 1. With how important turn 1 is these days, because characters need to build up, and this guy is providing that slot 1, turn 1 protection for the whole, like, that is team protection, right? Like, it not to a literal sense, but metaphorically, being able to get rid of slot 1 hits turn 1 and just nullify them except for AoEs, right? That's team protection, because a character that needs to build up can then be put in a spot where he can be hidden, right? Because a safe slot 1 unit is the biggest form of team protection that you can have outside of mechanics, right? That is why Beast Gohan is so good. That is why Broly is so good, right? How do we make these Gohan characters work and the Super Saiyan trio work? It's these amazing slot 1 characters that you can toss in slot 1 and they can hold it down for them while they build up, and then we can get into the standby, and then they can turn into the slot 1 characters themselves, right? That is how it works. And I think that this Goku, this UI Goku, and even Evolution Blue Vegeta with the guard and the damage reduction that builds up pretty quick, I think that they have a chance to just age perfectly, right? And seldom is that the case with yearly anniversary EZAs, but, you know, with that all being said, 10th anniversary could like completely reset and make all these characters bad, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say unless dodge nullification for multiple phases becomes like a major problem, I think this UI Goku has a ton of potential to outage everybody on this list. Is it going to happen? It's not guaranteed, but I could easily see a world where that is the case. And then Evolution Blue Vegeta, I like his defensive consistency. I like how easy it is to get key with him, the way he builds up. Offensively, he's basically the same character as UI Goku, right? But defensively, he just works in a different way. And I think that both of these characters, for what they are both phenomenal units, right? This is how you do a yearly anniversary EZA. This is how you bring back hype for the game. Characters that people have people have rainbowed and stuff like that. That's how you do it. So UI Goku, Evolution Blue Vegeta, really good characters. You could easily argue Z, but I'm going to put them in S+ for the sake of the discussion. And last but not least for this video, I have Janemba. We're going to put him again in S+. This isn't like ranked, right? Beast Gohan is the only ranked character on this list. And then we have Gogeta. So Janemba, again, works really well. I'll kind of put him in the group right here, right? I think that this character works out really well. You know, this is a guy who has... If you build him full dodge, he's doing a lot of dodge. He has guard. He builds up real quick, right? This character defensively is filling in the role that this team needs. He just works really well on some of the best teams in the game. But with Gogeta, he is like I said, Transform Gogeta is him. He is the best character in the game, probably. You could easily, like I said, it's the fact that it's turn 4. Like here, like we can do. Let's do something like this, right? I think that's probably how I would do it. Something like that, if you wanted me to rank them. And then if we wanted to rank the other side, I'll kind of do that at the end because I know people like to go to the end and take a screenshot or whatever. But I think with Gogeta, right, the transform version of Gogeta, it's the damage reduction, it's the ability to like just not take damage, right? The offensive output that he has, the buildup that he's able to do, the damage reduction and base. I just think that is a really well-designed character, right? Not taking damage from these supers, nullifying melee-based supers, right? Not very common, but when it does happen, it's very convenient for you, obviously. So, you know, that is sort of where the game is at right now. So if you wanted me to sort of rank these characters like loosely, right, I would probably do something like this. No. Like, if you wanted me to kind of put these characters in order, it would be, I don't know, something like that, probably. Yeah, I'd probably do something like this. Yeah, so if you wanted me to loosely rank the characters, there you go. But again, you can really argue these placements any which way. So there you have it, an update for November for how the state of the game is looking in terms of LRs. We'll call it a top 10 LR list, but please understand it's not going to be a top 10 list. So let me know what you guys think down below of this specific top 10, and don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy. Leave your arguments, stuff for characters in the comment section below. If I missed anybody, go ahead and let me know, and I'll hopefully get to it as soon as possible. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you all in the next one.